Hey girlies, it's Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm barefaced and ready to use some foundation. Of course, Juvia's place came out with their new foundation sticks. It's called the Shade Sticks, and this is what it looks like. So I've actually had these for about a week now, and I've been wearing it every single day for a week so I can give it a good test. I tested it with different primers, different powders, and I feel like I have some good tips and tricks for you guys. So this video is sponsored by Juvia's place. Thank you so much for working with me, but of course, all opinions are my own, and they haven't told me anything to say apart from, of course, the price, the finish, all of that good stuff. But the review section is all me and my opinions, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. So what I'm gonna do first is swatch the shades that are closest to my skin tone for your reference, but if you do want to see like all of the shades swatched, I'm sure it's over on the Juvia's place Instagram. So the shade that I've been using all week is the shade Cameroon. I feel like it has the correct undertone for me. It is slightly too dark, but once I've gone in with an under eye highlight and all of that good stuff, it balances it out. It's not too dark for me, but it is just like the perfect undertone compared to the other ones near my shade. The rest of them kind of have like a warm undertone, whereas I feel like I'm pretty neutral olive. So let's just go ahead and start with the shade Cameroon. So they are, let me show you the packaging first. They do come in these orange foundation sticks. This kind of orange coral is Juvia's place signature. The only thing I would say is just looking at it, if you did have a couple of these if you did have a couple of these sticks, you won't be able to tell which color they are. I do find myself having to open them up to see the shade every single time. I wish the stickers did have like a shade indicator type of thing, but they're all like gold, if you can see. So when you first get the stick, it does come in this gorgeous box, and of course it says the name at the top, and then you just go ahead and twist up the stick like that. So this is the shade I've been using. I hope you guys can see the undertone is just perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch that here. So that is the shade Cameroon. There's also 3 other shades which I think are pretty similar, but the undertone's just not right for me. We have the shade Abidjan, yeah, I'm sorry if I butcher any of these names, but this one is just a slightly too warm, the undertone of it. Next we have the shade Guinea, which I also thought was slightly too warm for me, which is that one. That one's not too bad. If anything, I could mix Guinea with a little bit of Cameroon to get my ideal shade. And then last but not least, we have the shade Jacmel, which is the lightest, and I don't really feel like that is me. Because I've been using Cameroon all week, I haven't looked at these shades in a while, but Guinea might be a good shade for me. No, I'm gonna stick with Cameroon because it's been doing me good so far. So I'm just gonna go ahead with Cameroon because the undertone is just perfect. And also Cameroon does match my body really well because my body is slightly darker than my face. So I'm gonna tell you guys what Juvia's place says about the foundation before I go ahead and apply it. So it comes in 30 shades. You can use it to conceal, correct, highlight, and contour. It says it has medium to full buildable coverage. It's paraben free and cruelty free, and it retails for $16 US. It's a natural finish, and they claim it's perfect for all skin types. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this foundation. Now I do agree that it has a medium buildable finish, so you can definitely do like 1 layer of it if you're just like running out the house, doing some errands. I do prefer to apply this foundation with a brush because I feel like it just moves the product perfectly. The sponge, I did try it with a sponge one day and it just sucked up. Sorry, my camera stopped recording, but like I was saying, yeah, I did try it with a sponge one day and I just felt like it sucked up way too much product. I was left with like a very light coverage, whereas if you do it with a brush, you get an even medium coverage. So yeah, like I was saying, I think this foundation is perfect for those quick days that you just want to slap on a foundation stick, blend it out with a brush, and walk out of the door. It is so easy to like blend out. So there we have a side by side, and I just love throwing this on every day. But also you can use it for your full coverage glam days because like they said, it is buildable. So what you can do is take the same foundation and just like circle it over the places that you want the extra coverage like that, and boom, the scars are gone. And then you can just go ahead and pat that in with your finger because your finger gives even more coverage than the brush. So wherever you want extra coverage, you can just dab over it with your finger. However, if you are going to wear this foundation on long working days, I would definitely recommend, if you have an oily skin type like me, to go in with a a mattifying primer and definitely set it with a powder, just because it is such a creamy foundation stick and it has a natural finish, not a matte finish. If you want it to last on oily skin, you have to take certain steps. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side of my face. Now also what I love using these foundation sticks for is contour. I always use a foundation stick to contour, or you can get precision exactly where you want it, and also they blend out beautifully. So this is the shade Katsina. I believe this is the second to darkest shade, and then I'm gonna go ahead and blend this in. So I hope you guys can see my face does look slightly dewy, which is why I recommend that you set this foundation, especially if you have oily skin, because it's only going to get more dewier than this. Okay, so once we've got the contour blended in, I like to go in and conceal and highlight underneath my eyes, down the center of my face. Now for this, you can go ahead and use the foundation sticks. There are lighter shades that of course you can put underneath your eyes, but for me, I found they're just a bit too creamy to go underneath my eyes, and I do get a little bit of creasing under there, so I do prefer to go in with a liquid concealer. It's just what I prefer. Even on my normal days, I don't use cream stick products underneath my eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Juvia's Place liquid concealer in the shade number 10, and this is what this looks like, and I do prefer liquid concealers underneath my eyes, so I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that. Now with this concealer, I do like to let it set and dry down, because it doesn't dry down too fast, so you do have a little bit of playtime with it. It's not one of those concealers where when you let it set, you come back and it's hard to blend out. It does blend out beautifully, so I just like to let it set for a little bit so it kind of keeps its coverage, and then I'll go in and blend it out in like 3-4 minutes. Okay guys, so I'm done scrolling on Instagram. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this concealer out now. And as you can see, it still blends so beautifully, like it hasn't dried down or clinged to any patches. I've also found with this foundation stick, it's best to apply the concealer with a dry sponge, because if you go in with a wet sponge, it kind of just soaks up all of the foundation product. Like I said guys, I've been using this for a little while, so I've kind of found the tips and tricks, because one day I did blend out the concealer with a wet sponge and it kind of just soaked up all of the foundation and concealer. So I don't know why, but I found it best to go in with a dry sponge, and also when you're setting the face, to use a dry sponge as well, so it doesn't affect the foundation stick. Of course, if you do get the product, you can go ahead and test it out your own way and see which way works better for you. Just because a dry sponge works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work the best for you. I'm just telling you guys what I found works for me. Okay, so now that everything is blended out, it's time to set the face. I'm gonna go in with the Juvia's Place setting powder in Sahara. It's kind of like a light banana type of shade. Once again, I'm going to take this on a dry sponge and just press that into the skin, so like baking, I suppose. Because of my oily skin type, I do find it best to set this foundation and concealer in place, and also because of the banana shade, it is going to balance out the foundation, which was slightly too dark for me, so I told you guys it would all come together. Now for the rest of my face, I like to take a pressed powder. You can take any one that you have and just set the rest of my face. Now what I'm going to do is just dust off that powder that I laid down, and I just love how that leaves a brightened effect underneath my eyes. So what I'm going to do now is complete the rest of my face, do bronzer, do my lower lash line, put some lipstick on, and then I'll come back and show you guys the final look. But so far, I hope you guys can see just how full coverage this looks and super flawless on my face. Okay guys, now I'm back. So here we have the final look. What do you think? I went for like a 90s brown type of look, but anyways, this base is flawless. I went ahead and set it with my setting spray. Of course, I added a little bit of bronzer. I didn't put any highlight, I didn't put any blush. I didn't want to do too much to the face. I wanted you guys to see this flawless base. So yeah, I definitely recommend picking up these foundation sticks if you're into like a quick base. You just want to like draw on the strokes, blend it in, set it with a powder and go. But also if you like a buildable foundation, you can definitely, like I did, go in with certain spots and use it as kind of like a spot concealer. I absolutely love this. Even on the days that I'm not going to use it as a foundation, I definitely will be using it as a contour stick. I feel like if you have oily skin, there are certain steps you're going to have to take to prolong the wear of this foundation. For example, mattifying primer, definitely setting it and carrying around a touch-up type of powder or oil blotting paper. That will definitely work with this foundation. I have tried it. But if you do have dry skin or even normal skin, I feel like you will love this foundation. It glides over the face beautifully. It doesn't cling to any dry patches or go patchy on the face. It honestly blends out like a dream, and it has a gorgeous natural finish. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the foundation stick. Let me know know your thoughts down in the comment section. Have you tried it? Will you be picking any up? Will you be picking it up for actual foundation or for contour, or maybe to highlight underneath your eyes? Let me know all of that good stuff down in the comment section. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and found it helpful, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Take care. Bye.